afternoon, everyone. Oops, I'm shorter than Nicole. Thanks for coming today. And today I'm going to present an initiative that is building a post-storm response capacity in the Mesoamerican Reefs. This is something that we have achieved in 4 years. Since 2018 we started. With the pandemic was a little bit of delay, but yes, finally we achieved what we were looking for. Already, Mesoamerican Reef, it's an area very important for 4 countries, Mexico, Belize, Guatemala, and Honduras. And for the economy, I think one of these numbers, it's a little bit updated. Yeah, it's depending on how you measure it. But, well, basically, this area is located in an area of high incidence of tropical cyclones or hurricanes or storms. And even though that coral reefs, they provide protection against these events, climate events, and because they dissipate the energy of the waves. However, in turn, they suffer some damages because of the storms. Damage can be like in a very low level, like just like broken tips, or edges, but also whole big colonies can be turned upside down, can be end up under the sediment, and also the rubble, that moves around with the currents and the waves, also can cause abrasion in the coral tissue. So, without this intervention, without doing something immediately in the next 30 days, the corals, they stay there, and they can there can be more damage or further damage. Like some of the fragments can be dragged around, losing their tissue, and also sometimes you can see a total fragmentation of a really big old, like Acropora cervicornis or palmata colony. So we came up with this idea, a lot of like a group of people that we gathered together to find ideas of how can we do, like what can we do to address the damage of storms in reefs. So we decided to put together a post-storm response capacity in the Mesoamerican Reefs. So our goal was to work on the 4 countries, Mexico, Belize, Guatemala, and Honduras. But unfortunately, we only were able to work in 3 countries so far because of political will. So, this is something that we did together, the Nature Conservancy and the Mesoamerican Reef Fund. Okay, I'm going to try to speak loud. So this was something done together. And then basically what we did is, okay, how can we do? At the beginning we thought, oh, well, just let's train people to repair the reef and that's it. But with time we realized it was more than that. So we finally came up with some these components. One of these is building governance, building guidance, establishing reef brigades, boost capacity building, and also promoting innovative financial mechanisms, always, the money. And basically these components were promoted in coordination with government agencies for the countries. In the case of Mexico, it's the National Commission of Protected Areas. In the case of Belize, the Fisheries Department. In Honduras, also the Agency for Protected Areas. So, this way, it was a way that the country appropriates from the beginning. So first, building governance, it was not easy. At the beginning, first, the countries work in different ways. And we were thinking, oh, this method works, that's it. But no, then we adapted, and we tried to work in each country to adapt the governance for each country. And it worked really well. So we established coordinating committees in each of the countries, in some cases like Honduras per protected area. So, and then this committee is responsible for planning and also like fundraising and pushing all these response efforts. What does that mean? That means that having everything ready for whenever the brigades need to go to the reef and do the work. So the reef brigades are basically people that get trained in order to be able to repair the reef after a storm. And also it's important to have a support network because these are the people or the entities or companies that will, support either with time or with financial resources. These can be local people or it can be also like international donors or whoever wants to help. So the second component is building guidance. So for that, we put together these early warning and immediate response protocol. So this is basically like a guide, very general. So these guides on like what to do before, during, and after a hurricane. So, but it is necessary every year to come up with an annual response plan because the annual response plan will have local information that you need to have on hand. Let's say, like, where are you going to get the cement from? Like, who's going to provide the fuel, you need information on emergency contexts, like decompression chambers, all of that. You need a communications plan, also a logistics plan. So you need to have everything ready. So whenever the hurricane season comes, you have everything settled down, and the brigade, they just need to go out, and do their job. So the third component is establishing reef brigades. So together with the government agencies, we identify local people. We're talking about tour operators, biologists, regular divers, fishermen, whoever wants to participate that lives in a locality and that they want to learn how to repair the reef. They need to be experienced divers or experienced snorkelers. So in this case, one brigade is made out of 10 first responders. Usually it's 4 snorkelers and 10 and 6 divers. It can be, the different numbers. The idea is, to have some people working under the water and some people helping by snorkeling, doing cement, taking the cement down, and doing all these things. So the brigade's roles and responsibilities, they have to implement rapid reef assessment to evaluate the damage of the hurricane in the reef. Then they have to implement primary response actions. What are these? Well, they need first to clean up the reef. If there is some debris, or if there is something that is foreign to the reef and it's causing damage, they need to take it out first. But also they need to repair the reef. They need to put back together the big colonies, take the corals out of the sediment and all of that. Thank you. You're welcome. And also, this is what we call reef first aid, helping the reef to get back together, or at least, for a while. Just one thing important, this is not restoration. This is rehabilitating the reef. But it's very important to do it because if you wait until you can do restoration, sometimes, the corals, they don't wait that long. And after that, after you finish doing all the primary response, you can do secondary response. These are actions that it can be done 45 days, 3 months later after that. Everything is in the protocol. You can get some protocols on the back or also digitally. So for that, we were able to train 8 brigades for Mexico, 4 in Belize, like we did a course of 2 and 2, and then for Honduras, 6. So all these people you see there are all the new brigades that are ready, trained in order to be able to do all these actions. Also, we equipped them. They got a toolbox with all these items that are necessary in order to do the response. So, Reef Brigades in Action, 2020. 3 major hurricanes, Delta, Gamma, and Zeta in Mexico. So the Reef Brigades in Mexico, they were able, in 22 days, only 53 people, they were able to stabilize more than 1,000 colonies and also stabilize more than 7,000 fragments in two very important areas in Mexico. Also, boost capacity. Okay, training brigades, but then what happens? So we also promoted to train people locally to become instructors of the brigades course. So now there is some people in Mexico, Belize, and Honduras, and also Guatemala, so they can teach this course and train more people. These are the groups of new instructors that we have. We have one here, Claudia Guerrero, and also the final thing is promote financial mechanisms. So I don't know if you've heard, but also there was an innovative financial mechanism, which is an insurance. If you want to know more, there is a guide how to put together like an insurance for a natural asset. And this is basically a parametric reef insurance that if a hurricane goes through a polygon at a certain speed, then you get money. So the government of Mexico got 805, almost like $1 million to in 2020 for Hurricane Delta. So the idea is that this money goes, in order to support the reef. Woo! Well, so yeah, just acknowledgement. I would like to thank the Nature Conservancy and Swiss Reef Foundation for making this possible. This was a dream that I had since I worked in my first job, like I was looking all these hurricanes coming by and frustrated without doing anything. So for me, it's very important, that this initiative was done. And also, thanks Marfund, Claudia Ruiz, for believing in this and co-sponsoring this effort, CCAT, KWF, and mostly the governments of Mexico through the CONAMP, the government of Belize through the Fisheries Department. We have Alicia, one of the champions here, for believing, and also in Honduras, the ICF and BICA, Bay Island Conservation Association, that was like really great in supporting and believing in this initiative, and also Amatela from Tela. And it's just a picture of the new wonderful trainers that become trainees, and they help giving all these courses in the Mesoamerican Reef. So this is it. Thank you very much.